In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to break into remote high ticket sales in 2026. This is going to be a full-length remote sales course completely free. And this is the exact process I've used for all of my students getting into remote high ticket sales that was able to get them from making no money in high ticket sales to making over $10,000 a month just in 60 days. Now, this isn't gonna be just your basic how to get into sales video. I'm gonna be showing you exactly how to go from complete beginner to making anywhere from 4 to 10K a month within 30 days of getting started in this industry. This video will be the exact step-by-step process you need to start seeing results with high ticket sales, so you never have to watch another video like this again. So let's get into it. So this video here is gonna be longer than most of the videos that I have on YouTube because I am literally spilling all of the sauce that I possibly have for you guys that I literally have had people pay multiple thousands of dollars to learn. But before we get started, let me be real with you for a second. If you're new to remote high ticket sales and you don't really know the industry that well, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're watching this video, this is not a get rich quick scheme whatsoever. This is not like drop shipping, SMMA, crypto, trading. It's not like any of that whatsoever. This truly does require hard work. It's not something you just do on the side. It's not something you do after school or after your 9-to-5 job. No, this is a true source of income that will be serving as your full-time income if you actually pursue this industry. So you have to be hardworking, you have to be dedicated, and you pretty much just have to be a dog to be able to win in this space. If that's not you, you guys should probably bounce right now. But if it is, keep watching and I'm gonna show you the exact blueprint on how to start making money online. Step one, you gotta understand what remote sales actually is. So first things first, remote high ticket sales, it always gets kind of a bad rep because people compare it to like insurance sales, door-to-door sales, real estate sales, all this other kind of like bullshit that's out there. And obviously those are still ways to make money, but it's not like remote high ticket sales whatsoever. So the easiest way to explain remote high ticket sales is you are pretty much a middleman. You are working for any type of influencer or company that sells any type of digital product or service online. So for example, like e-commerce coaching programs, there's dating courses and there's dating coaching programs, there's SMMA, Amazon, all those things that people preach get rich quick. Most of those guys, they sell a course. And what people don't know is they all have sales teams behind the scenes that is a full working, functioning business that is literally selling this product for the creator or company because obviously they don't have time to do it themselves. So say the least, you're selling anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000 packages and you're getting paid a commission every single time you make one of these sales. The best part about this industry is that you are not cold calling, you are not knocking doors, you are not prospecting your own leads and clients. Everyone literally comes to you already wanting the product, whether that's from organic traffic or it's from paid advertising. Every single person you're talking to knows what your product is and they already want it. You just have to sell them on it. Step two, understanding the two most important things when getting started as an appointment setter. First role is an appointment setter and the second role is a closer. And the corporate terms, it's SDR and an AE, but we're not corporate here whatsoever, so get used to hearing appointment setters and a closer. First things first, as an appointment setter, you are the first point of contact with any type of lead that comes through the funnel that you're working on and whatever team you're working on. So what the appointment setter does is they don't sell any type of products whatsoever. They actually have a pretty easy job. What an appointment setter does is an appointment setter, they either call, text, SMS, DM setters. Most of the time it's gonna be a dialer. The dialer will go ahead and call the lead. They'll go through a qualifying process, making sure like they're a good prospect, making sure they obviously are financially qualified, making sure they have urgency, making sure they have intent, and just making sure that they are good enough to be booked on the closer's calendar. So once the setter hits all of those things, all they do is they book that person on a calendar with the closer. They're not selling anything whatsoever. All you're doing is booking appointments for the closer. Now, that goes into closing. As a closer, you are the person that actually sits down, you jump on a Zoom call with someone, and you're the person that actually closes the sale. Now, when the closer closes the sale, the closer and the setter both make a commission off of whatever the amount of the ticket price was. So if it was $10,000 and the closer has 10% and the setter has 5%, Literally in a 1-hour sales call, the closer made $1,000 and the setter made $500. So just by that example, and that is not uncommon whatsoever, that is how lucrative this industry is and how you can make money so fast. But with that being said, most people start out in the industry as appointment setters. All of my students personally, I always start people out as appointment setters. There's gurus and shit that say, oh, learn how to close, step right into closing, make 10, 15, 20, 30K a month. I think it's bullshit, honestly. I think it's very hard to step into the industry directly as a closer without at least having setting experience and get results quickly at that. Alrighty, so here is the biggest thing that separates a good sales rep versus a sales rep that usually gets fired or quits within the first 2 weeks of getting started in this industry. So let's throw it out there. Let's say you finally landed your first role and you don't have a ton of experience, you don't have a ton of training. These are gonna be the 2 things that are gonna be most important to do well in a high performing sales role. First things first, I cannot stress this enough. When everyone thinks of sales, they think as a sleazy car salesman or someone that's trying to shove a product down your throat, and they always try to sell the product. I teach all of my sales reps to treat this truly like you're a doctor or you're a therapist. You are not hard selling anyone whatsoever. There has never been a time in remote high ticket sales where I've ever sold someone because of how good the product is. You're selling a solution for whatever problem someone has right now. So the first thing that I can tell you is learn psychology. I have a ton of videos on my YouTube about sales psychology, and you should 100% go and watch them. That is the first thing I could tell you getting into this industry. So you're not selling how good the product is, 3 coaching calls a week. You're not selling a course that's the best course in the entire world. You're not doing that. You're selling the emotions. You're selling the solution to the problem that they have. You have to dig into the problem that they have. So where psychology comes into play is we are not persuading someone to buy anything whatsoever. We're not. Ultimately, in high ticket sales, we're helping people make a decision that they already know they need to make, but they have some kind of limiting belief that's holding them back from actually doing that. And that's where we come into play. But we aren't hard closing them or strong arming them or shoving a product down their throat. All we are doing is we are asking them questions that makes them realize that they need to make a decision. So for at least appointment setting, first thing I always teach people, all of my appointment setters, the most important thing to go into in the beginning of your calls is situation awareness. What that is digging into someone's current situation, and you're asking them questions about their current situation that makes them explain to you where they're currently at right now. And usually, wherever they're currently at right now is not going to be where they want to be, hence why they're here in the first place. Whether, for example, let's say it's a fitness program you're selling. You're going to be asking them where they're at right now with their health. How much do you weigh? How long have you weighed this much? How does that affect you day by day weighing this much? Why haven't you changed anything? If they're getting into a drop shipping program, a make money, you asking them questions about their current situation financially. What do you currently do for work? How long have you been there? What has you wanting to break out of that and get into e-commerce and drop shipping? You know, you're asking those kind of questions that literally what it does is it makes them persuade themselves. Other than that, tonality is going to be a huge factor as well when you're on the phones with people. You know, if you sound robotic or you sound super corporate, you're gonna get hung up on. No one wants to talk to someone that sounds like a sales rep. No one wants to talk to sales guys, and neither do I. None of you guys that are watching this either never wanna feel like you're being sold anything, or you guys don't wanna talk to a sales rep, ever. So you have to create a tonality and talk with conviction to where you're not a sales rep. So in this industry, especially, all of the sales reps that work in the industry, they have such a high authority. And that's only if they talk with conviction. So for example, like let's say that I'm Joe, I'm calling Fred, and I'm gonna try to sell him on a fitness program. If I call him, hey, is this Fred? Hey Fred, this is Joe from the fitness program, man. I just wanted to reach out and see like what made you wanna do the fitness program. You know, if you sound like a fucking loser, you're gonna get hung up on all the time. Like the first thing I could always say in an introduction is speak with conviction. Always have that high authority status, because you guys have to remember all of these people came to you. You're not cold calling anyone. They literally came to you. So with that being said, you have to talk with conviction in your tonality, especially in the first 5 seconds of a sales call. That is what sets the first impression. So what I say for every single appointment setter getting started is they need to know who you are, who you represent, and why you're calling. You have to give that directly to them when they pick up the phone. So, hey Fred, what's up? This is Joe from Joe's Fitness Program, man. I just got your application here. I had a couple minutes before my next meeting. I wanted to give you a super quick call and just ask you, what was it that made you want to, apply to get help with your health and fitness? Boom, you're right into it. You're right into a question. They're not gonna say, can you call me back later, this or that? No, you're right into it. You hold a high authority, you speak with conviction, and you start the conversation with a question. You tell them who you are, who you represent, and why you're calling, and end that with a question so they have to respond to it. That is the biggest two things that I could tell you guys getting started in the industry. If you can do those two things, you'll be just fine going into your first sales role. Step 3, getting your first role. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is where 99% of people fail and actually kind of just give up when starting remote high ticket sales. And I'll be honest, it is probably the hardest part to do on your own. So the first thing people usually do where they go wrong is they buy some bullshit like $20 a month course with a job board with 450 other people applying to the same position as them. And at some point you're gonna get burned out because you're not gonna get a role. What I can tell you guys is the best way to actually do this is build a network. You guys should honestly just start reaching out to people that are in remote high ticket sales. Start building your network. Jump on random Zoom calls with people and just get to know them. Start reaching out to sales managers. Go to these big creators and try to find on their following on Instagram who their sales manager is. Clicking on specific people that they follow. If a big creator with 100,000 followers only follows 15 other people, I bet you a couple of them are on a sales team. So go through there. DM those people. I always recommend joining free communities because it's free, first of all, especially if you're trying to do this on a budget or get started. That's always good. When you're in those free communities though, what you need to do is network with as many people as you can. I know it sounds super cliche and it might be something you've heard before, but I promise you, your network is your net worth. I promise you that. I squeezed my way into remote high ticket sales. Honestly, when I got my first role, I should not have gotten hired. I shouldn't. I had no experience whatsoever. I was 2 days into coaching. I had no fucking clue what I was doing. But I sold myself, I built up a network, and I got in because I knew someone. And the rest was history from there. Network as much as you possibly can, and you have to get out of your comfort zone to do so. So other than that, when you are applying for mass applications or mass opportunities, when you have other people reaching out, what you need to do is you need to film a Loom video. If you go over to loom.com, you create an account, it's free, I'm pretty sure. You guys go there and you guys make a Loom video. Now, what you guys need to do in this video is you guys need to talk about who you are, experience that you have, if you have any whatsoever, how old you are, where you're from. Most importantly though, is how hungry you are for the role. Me as a sales manager, I truly don't even really look for people with a ton of experience. I look for people that are hungry. I would rather hire someone with no experience versus someone that's a part-time worker just wanting a get-rich-quick thing. Truthfully. So inside of your application videos that you guys are sending out, if you guys can just make it seem like you're as hungry as fucking possible, you guys will go far with that. Now, here's the thing as well. You guys also have to remember when you're sending in these Loom videos for an application, most of the time you guys are competing with 30, 40, 50, hundreds of other people to land a role. You have to do something in this video explaining yourself, selling yourself that makes you stand out against all of those other applications. Alrighty, step 4 is mastering the appointment setting process. I know we might have already went over a little bit of appointment setting, specifically with introduction and psychology and tonality, but I'm gonna give you guys the exact literal framework that I give to all of my sales reps, word for word. So this right here is probably one of the best pieces of information that you can get. Alrighty, so the first process of the appointment setting process, and we're gonna say this, for example, when I'm teaching you guys this is gonna be for dialers. Most of the time in appointment setting, you're gonna be dialing. So first things first, we went over it a little bit, is introduction and rapport. They need to know who you are, who you represent, and why you're calling. Knock those 3 things out. Talk with absolute conviction and authority. If you call them and you sound scared or nervous, they're gonna hang up on you. They're not gonna give you the time of day. You call them, you have conviction, you sound like you're a high authority person, you're gonna be just fine. That's intro and rapport, meaning call them, introduction. Hey, yeah, Fred, what's going on? This is Joe from Joe's Fitness Program, man. I just got your application here. I wanted to give you a quick call before I run into this meeting right now. What was it that made you want to, apply to take care of your health and fitness? Boom, you're right into it, high authority. That is going to be the intro and report. Now, from there, you're going into situation awareness. That is part 2 of the framework. Situation awareness. You are diving as deep as you possibly can into their current situation. You're only asking questions. The best sales reps I've ever trained, I've ever worked with, I've ever managed, they all do the same thing. All they do is ask questions. They never have statements come out of their mouth. They're always asking questions. So in situation awareness, you're digging as deep as you possibly can into their current situation. What that does is that builds urgency. It creates a gap from where they are now and where they want to be, and it makes them realize that they need to do something about it, that their current situation is not where that they want to be. All right, from there, we go into step 3 of the framework, which I call anti-selling. Now, you can mix up 2 and 3 a little bit together. Anti-selling, what that is showing them the door. Let's say I'm on the phone with someone and they're like, yeah, I love my job. I make a lot of money, but I just want to make a little bit of money on the side. Well, dude, tell me, why not just double down on the hours that you're working right now and, make more money that way? Or dude, why not just get another part-time job? You're anti-selling them on to pretty much not do the program. What that does is that makes them sell themselves even more on why they want to do it. So that's that right there. For example, one more example with that, let's go back to fitness. Let's say you're talking to someone and they're like, yeah, right now I'm working out on my own and my girlfriend cooks for me and she's a great cook. She makes super healthy stuff, so that's been going pretty good. Doesn't make sense, right? Okay, well dude, why not just keep doing that then? Why not just keep having your girlfriend cook for you and go to the gym with your plan? Then they're gonna explain to you why that's not working and they're gonna persuade themselves on why they need what you have. That is anti-selling. Now, step 4, I call soft goals. Now, what I call soft goals, you're gonna go into their goals, but only a little bit. You wanna have a rough idea of where they wanna be, and then it'll just create a bigger gap. So if you're going in this current situation, you're doing all this, you're anti-selling, what soft goals has always done for me is it allows me to ask more pain and emotion-driven questions and also anti-sell a little bit more. If I ask someone, so what's the goal here? And they say, oh, it's to make 10K a month. Say, okay, do you think that you can't get to 10K a month right now with your current job? No, okay, why not? Now they're gonna explain even more why their current situation isn't where they wanna be. And it also just helps you understand a little bit of their goals and you ask why specifically, what would that do for you? And only go into it a little bit because we are gonna go back into future pacing, pretty much is what it's called. But from there, step 5 is gonna be financially qualify. Now, in most offers, in most cases, you can directly qualify. The nice thing is for any type of make money offers where they're starting any type of business or anything like that, you can always financially qualify by pretty much just saying hey, obviously it takes money to make money. Have you been able to set aside anything to, get this new venture started? That is the best way on, a make money offer, which usually are the easiest offers to financially qualify on. But, in the case scenario where you're on a fitness offer, stuff like that, you'll have to indirectly qualify, almost asking them, okay, what are you bringing in per month? How much are you spending on junk food, stuff like that? There's so many creative ways to actually financially qualify indirectly. And depending on whatever offer you guys are on, if it's not make money, I've been on offers that are women's health, that are fitness offers, that are sales offers. There's so many different offers where you have to indirectly qualify. If you guys ever get on an offer like that, feel free to shoot me a DM or drop it in the comments what offer you're on, and I will give you a few different talk tracks for your offer specifically on how to indirectly qualify someone. So there's one line, I'm not even gonna call it a step. Now you're gonna transition from step 5, financially qualifying, into step 6, going into future pacing. But here's the thing, is there's this question that I like to say, and sometimes it can get taken out of the case scenario it needs to be in. I call it running away from the finances. Every single time I financially qualify someone, I say to them, okay, and money aside, you could have all the money in the world for something like this, but if you're not actually willing to be dedicated to this and put the time towards it, it's not gonna work. Do you see yourself being able to do that? And they'll say yes. Now, that is not a sales qualifying, it's a persuasion. It honestly is just a dead question. The only reason why I ask it is I think it really moves it, like it just pivots to that next step very, very well. You don't have to. It's something I've always done. It's worked for me. If not, you can go right into, step 6, which is going to be future pacing. So you tell them, you ask them like, so what is truly the goal here? Let's say we get you to, 10K a month, like you said earlier. What does that do though? What goals do you have after that? You're going into their exact like dream desire state. That's where we want to get them to. Talking about their desire state, they're going to get a new car, new house, propose to the wife, whatever it is, okay, how do you feel walking around after losing 30 pounds? All that kind of stuff. How does it feel making 30K a month? What do you do differently? You're future pacing them. You're getting them in a desired state, talking about their goals. After that, step 7 is why now? So you have great goals here, John. I'm curious for you, why is this important now though? This is where I usually end off my questions, my line of questioning. So after that, they're gonna give you an explanation on why it's important now. This builds a little bit more urgency before you go into booking the call. Now you're gonna book the call. You tell them. You don't ever ask them, hey, so yeah, what we can do is we can get you on a call with one of our coaches over here and we can see if we can help you out. Does that sound something you're interested in? Oh my goodness. No, we're never saying that. Ever, 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 ever. Tell them after the why now, say, awesome. Well, after everything we went through, I think there's a chance we actually might be able to help you out here. What we can do is we can get you on a call with one of our coaches where they can kind of break down a little bit more where you're at now, where you want to be, and see if we can come up with a game plan that helps you out with where you're currently at right now. It's a very, very good line. So how's that sound? Good? Cool. There's way more authority with that talk track versus, is that something you're interested in? No, you're driving them into it. They don't really have a choice. If they say that doesn't sound good, hang up right there. Something went wrong. I don't know, the person might be brain dead. I've never seen it happen. So after that, you're going into the booking process. You're finding a time that works for them. What I can say in the booking process is confirm their time zone. Make sure that they're going to be home in a good spot. Do not book a call if someone's going to be driving, at work, on a date, whatever it is. You book someone in the calendar when they are going to be home in a good spot for a full hour where they can sit down on Zoom with the closer. What I can say is closing is understanding human psychology on a truly a different level. Like now you're not actually just booking appointments. You truly are like asking questions that are going to persuade someone to spend anywhere from, $5,000 to $15,000 on one call. And most of the closers in the industry, or most offers, or at least good offers in closers, they're not doing more than one call closes, which means they're not doing follow-ups and follow-ups to get the deal done. Like the deal is closing on that first call. Now, closing is where you can seriously make an insane amount of money. Now, there's guys out there that say they make $300K a month closing. That's bullshit. But I truly have seen people make upwards of $30,000 to $100,000 per month closing deals from home. So closing, we would be here another hour and a half if we went over everything you need to know when closing. But what I can say is to get to that point of becoming a closer on your offer, if you are a setter, is you need to be the best setter, you need to be the hardest worker, and you need to have a good relationship with your sales manager and your team so they want to promote you into that position. And you need to make it known that you're hungry for that position as well. Now, scaling your income once you're a closer. Let's say like you're like me and you got to the point where you're making 15 to 25K a month consistently as a closer. I did that for a couple of years, and you get to the point to where you want to do something more. Closing is not just the end of the road. Even though you're making a ton of money, I thought that if I ever made, 15 to 25K a day in my life, like I would do that forever. I would be happy, but you'll get to that point to where it's not enough. And that's what happened to me. So you pretty much have a couple different options that you can go with. You can go into the route of starting to sell your own program or product of some sort, or you can go into the route of doing some type of operating or sales management, which is what I did. So the sales management, now I personally manage over 5 different sales teams. We're doing about $500,000 per month in revenue across all teams, and I get a percentage of all of that revenue that I help generate for the team. So I don't even take closing calls anymore. I'm sitting down, training sales teams, running morning meetings, making sure systems and the sales processes are dialed in, and pretty much just training and making sure people are doing their job all day. Once you get to the point that your skill set is, as high as it can possibly be as a sales rep, you can move into doing something like that and scale your income even more. So look, the information that I gave you today truly does have the power to change your life. It just depends if you go and implement it or not, and who's gonna get off this video and leave it alone and bury the thought of remote sales forever versus who's actually gonna go out there and get what they truly want and what they know they deserve. So at this point, you pretty much have two options. You go at it alone, you take all the information I gave you today, you try as hard as you possibly can to make it work, and pretty much just hope that you don't get stuck in, a shitty job or a shitty position with someone that doesn't know what they're doing in the business, or you get help from someone that actually knows what they're doing, that has had success in this, that's been in the industry for a long time, that has helped other people do it. And if we're being honest, if you're not making money already in remote sales and you have been trying to go at it for a while now, you need help. You truly need help. And it's why I created Sales Team 6. It's a 90-day program where I personally coach you 3 days a week, give you scripts, frameworks, call recordings from myself, past appointment setters and closers that I've worked with. And the best part about everything that I do is I guarantee placement within 90 days into a high-paying remote sales role. Now, with the students that I currently have, it's never taken me more than 30 days to place someone into a role. It's truly all dependent on how fast you learn. We say 90 days will guarantee you placement into a high-paying sales role. Now, this is not for everyone. There is a vetting process and there is an interview process for me to be able to guarantee that to someone in the first place. So we would have to go through something like that first, but you won't be joining a program where someone puts you on with other coaches and sends you a course and says, figure it out, or going to a job board with 500 other sales reps applying for the same exact role. You're getting placed directly by me. So you're gonna be working under me in any one of the offers that I currently manage, or you're getting placed into an offer with someone that I know personally that also does operating or sales management. None of my students have ever had to submit a Loom video to get a sales role. So as a beginner, if you're not getting help, it's something you're gonna have to do. My students never have. And these are students like Mauro. He was working a warehouse job, making $2,500 a month. And within 60 days, he hit his first $10,000 a month with remote sales and has continuously done 10K plus months as a setter. And another example, just like Landon, he is 18 years old in college and he's going to make $5,000 this month as an appointment setter. And he just got started with remote sales. He hasn't even been doing it over a month and a half. But there's one thing, I don't let anyone in, like I said. I have a true vetting process. We go through an interview process and you have to be hungry and you have to be dialed. Are gonna half-ass the program. I don't deal with people that wanna just get rich quick, are looking for the next big business model. I truly let people in that are hungry, that wanna make something work for themselves and that are willing to do whatever it takes. When I see that with someone's personality, that's when I can actually guarantee someone placement and doing well. If not, it's very hard for me. I can never guarantee placement and results like I do. And yeah, we can see what we can make happen for you. So if you want to learn more about Sales Team 6 and how I do things with my students, I'll have a link down below in the description. You can apply down below. You'll have me or someone from my team reach out. We can tell you a little bit more information about what we have going on and truly see if we can guarantee you all the results that we guarantee the other students that we currently have. So, if you're 18 to 23, even 24, 25, 26 years old, and you're watching this video right now, and you're currently not where you wanna be in life, you're either broke, you're in college, you're working some shitty 9-to-5 job that you don't like, I'm telling you, you deserve more. And I know you know that too. So if that's you, there's a very good chance that we can help you out. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys tagging along for the ride. I hope you guys got a ton of amazing sauce here in this video today. Go implement it. Any questions, shoot them down in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe for more content like this so you guys don't miss it. And yeah, we'll catch you guys later.